So this is the VARI 4115 from Harbinger, 2500 watts. That's their peak number. I'm gonna go with like 1250. And this is very important because it's a very loud speaker. If you're working on being a DJ or you want to supply PA equipment for services, this might be the right speaker for you to get started with. And it all comes down to how big you want to be, how many customers you want to serve, how big do you want your audience to be able to be with just having two speakers. Now, you can always do bigger, you can get very big, you can get all kinds of setups, but for most people to get started, this might be the right way to go. So Harbinger's very unique in the industry because they are owned by one of the largest audio retailers in the US. This means that you're cutting out the middleman, you're cutting out the distributor, you're going straight from a manufacturing and designing process company to the actual consumer, which is you. That's very important. This means that they have a choice. They can either gouge you for a whole lot of extra money, but you can certainly tell by the features and benefits and power that you get in your speakers that that's not the route they went. They've decided to bring you a product that is superior to most other people in that price point, constantly moving forward, bringing you nicer features. And that's what happens with the 4115. So when you look at a budget of $1,500 to get started, you can easily get two of these speakers and a subwoofer. Or with a lot of other brands, two speakers is as far as you're gonna go. Are you sacrificing? I don't think so. I think you're gonna end up with more, especially if you buy the whole package. So let's talk about a couple of the actual features on the speaker that I really like off the hop without having to get into all the details. I like the manual. It may not, you're thinking about it, right? You're going, hey, wait a minute, manual. Don't normally think of that as a feature, but it is a feature. Customer support is a feature, which is really good with these guys. And the way they write their manuals are really good. This is important because if you're buying a set of speakers for the first time, or maybe you haven't had a set of speakers that are smarter than what you might have just have, plug in an amplifier, that sort of thing. And this is the first time you're using powered speakers, or maybe this is the first time you're using a speaker that has a built-in amp in it, and you really want to get comfortable with it. Manual is very important. Having videos like this hopefully helps out too. Now, the other thing that I like about this particular set of speakers is the way they laid everything out in the back of the speaker. It makes it very easy and friendly to use, and that's pretty important. So who wouldn't want a speaker that's, well, this powerful? Not a lot of people, because you really want to get as much as you can reasonably afford. And that's the most important part. If you're buying it for yourself as a DJ or somebody to add to your portfolio of products you want to have, you kind of want to make sure it's going to work and it's going to work well. And that's what you're going to get with the particular speakers. They're at their top end. So when we're thinking of Harbinger, we're thinking, well, it doesn't get any better than this right now. This is the V4115. It's not the 23 series, it's the 41 series. And the 41 series, of course, comes with the benefits of more power, more inputs, and easier functionality through the app. So these are all very important things, and at an amazingly reasonable price, because occasionally they're on sale. That's what's happening. And that just so happens to be timed out with what I'm doing right now in this particular video. So have a look. The links are down below. Harbinger is at Guitar Center. It's exclusive. You're going to find it there. It is a brand that you can buy online, but you can also go into one of hundreds of stores across the US. Just walk into any Guitar Center and you're going to find Harbinger. They're ready for you. You can even sometimes, and this is amazing now, rent it before you buy it. Or if you need a second set because you're doing a big job, you already have your first set, you don't need two, but occasionally you're going to do a big job. You're going to need more. You're familiar with the brand, so why not just rent another set? Or maybe you need to add subwoofers. You can rent that as an add-on. It's a great way to go. And if you want, you can buy them new, and occasionally you can even buy them used or displays in the store and save a bit of money. They come with great warranties that make them easy to maintain, and you don't have to ship them anywhere. You just need to go to your local Guitar Center. These are all big positive reasons why you should get yourself a pair of Harbinger speakers. But what can I say to help you out here? Well, I can say you can save money. Am I saying you should buy it? I'm saying yes, you should, if it's the right set of speakers for you. And sometimes you have to go down to the showroom and you have to listen to them and you have to talk it through with somebody who's got a lot of experience hands-on. Not just your neighbor, not just your friend, but maybe somebody who's actually done this for a while and can appreciate price points of everything. And here we are looking at the back of the V4115. We're going to talk about some of the inputs that are on here, some of the great options that you have, and the ability to run the whole thing off of the app, which is really nice. I do like the idea of having the app. The app makes things a lot easier. So again, if you have an Apple device, you'll be able to do that. So as the speaker itself goes, it has a lot of inputs. You've got the first and second channel, which give you mic, guitar, and line options. So you're pretty much open to whatever you want to plug in there. That's why they give you the combo jack options down at the bottom. Now, channel 3, very important. It's a multi-channel system. It has 3 ways to connect to the speaker in stereo. That's 2 channels. We've got our 1/4-inch options here, which are 2 left and right, or you can plug into just the left if you want a mono. And yes, it would be better if they were matching, but unfortunately, I did not have 2 of the same today. It works out that way sometimes. Above that is the 3.5. That's your small headphone jack that you would see. So if, let's say you just wanted to hook up something straight via that 3.5 connection, you can do that. That's a quick and easy way. I wouldn't want to run any long cables off of that. I do notice that when you have a common ground, you're more likely to get a humming issue. But again, it's there for you. The AUX 3.5. Then above that, we have our Bluetooth. We have the ability to turn our Bluetooth on and to pair it. Now, this is important because this is a commercial speaker. It's not going to automatically pair unless you engage that function to it. Now, remember, this Bluetooth option is not the same as the app Bluetooth connectivity up on top. Those are considered 2 different actual Bluetooth applications. You'll notice how that works out on your phone. So remember, the bass and treble control are located, if the app is engaged, here and here, or you can turn off the app control and control it right onto the back of the unit. That's why these dials are actually digital. They're called infinity knobs. They just turn and turn because they are digital. They're not analog. So if you want to engage or disengage the app when it comes to controlling it on the back of the speaker, hold down, wait for this display to change, and you'll be all set. There you go. So now it's gone and brought us into the actual control right here. Is now displayed on the back of the unit. So I can tap on that, brings me up the menu options, which there are a lot of. We've got a video that covers all of this in great detail, and that's a great video to watch because you can see how all these things work. It's really cool, but it's right there for you. So if you'd like to learn more about just the app, we'll have a link at the end of this video that'll bring you right to it. Now, outside of that, everything else is really easy to control. So let's just leave that all together. Now we have our master volume control right up here. And again, this allows me to adjust the actual input on the back of this speaker and be able to control with one volume control right up on top. Now down below here, this is where it really gets exciting. This is how you can tie this speaker in to this speaker without having to constantly adjust the second speaker to match the first speaker. It would be great if we can have this speaker tell the speaker what to do, so this way we have to do nothing to balance off the sound between these 2 speakers. That's going to happen right here. First option is we have to decide, do we want to run a mono system? So whatever happens in this speaker will also happen in the second speaker. Or do we want them to be stereo? So this way, this speaker will be either left or right, your choice, and this will be the other. So again, if this is your left speaker, this will become your right speaker. And then you'll have a stereo signal going to both of them. The third option is what we're going to do on this speaker, which is set this speaker to link. So now if we turn this speaker on, what's happened is this speaker is now in stereo linking to this speaker. So that means this cable right here is taking the signal and bringing it in. Notice I plugged that into the link because I put it in link right here. That's very important. And on this side, it says link out. So I've used the link out to the link in. This speaker is now going to be connected to this speaker. Whatever goes on here will be what this speaker does. None of these other functions are going to be part of the equation. It is just going to be that one feature alone. Now we still have the ability, if you look up here, it says direct out on both of these speakers. Of course, we've got a direct out here and we've got a direct out here. So if I was hooking up these speakers to a subwoofer, this speaker here would be connected now to its subwoofer down below. So this was my right speaker, subwoofer down below, my left speaker, subwoofer down below. It's as simple as that. Nothing to worry about at that point there. Now remember, you can also set this up so this way you can run 4 speakers if that's how you want to have it. These options are up to you. So if at this point I decide not to use the link cable because I want to be able to adjust both speakers via the app and I want to control them independently, well, I would go this way. I would take my cable, plug it in to the mono input jack here on line 3, and then the same thing, mono input jack on line 3. I'd then be obligated to adjust the gain controls, so this way they're going to be at the proper volume levels, and then I can run both speakers on the app. Maybe I have 2 different rooms, or maybe the setup is so different that I don't want to have one speaker telling the other speaker what to do. You can still go with a traditional route. Now currently this is hooked up to an actual mixer, which is why they're 1/4 inch in this particular case. But it's literally that simple once you start to use it. You do want to practice at home. You do want to ask yourself, is this how I want to run it? Is this the best way for me? And after you use it for a while, you're probably going to say, yeah, you know what? This works for me. This is the way I want to have it. And you'll be all set. Should you buy the speaker or not? Quality, reliability, based on what I know about speakers, quality and reliability is definitely there. You have to decide if it's big enough for you. If you're doing it for weddings, yes, up to 150 people, which puts 50 people on a dance floor at any given point in time. That's roughly what I'm thinking about. Now remember, you can always rent more speakers if you need it, because you don't want to run your speakers more than like 75%, so this way they last a very long time. So let's talk about a couple of the little add-on things. During the video today, you would have noticed that I had to use one of these off cables, so it did not look the same as the other 1/4 inch cable I was using. It was all silver in color versus the black. This is very important because when I was setting up for this video, I couldn't find the black one. But since then I have. So this is a good point of always having a backup cable. A backup cable that doesn't match your regular cables is better than being short a cable. So it's always good to have that backup cable. So in this case, I had it. It was 16 feet long. My other cable that I wanted to use was only 10 feet and was all black. I mean, I don't care about the length. I just make sure it works, and that was what I had to do. So now I'll be able to put the proper cable in and have a matching set. So for the people out there who got bugged by the fact that I didn't have a matching set, that's what happened. So now we can plug that one right in the back. No worries there. And again, backup cables is what this tip is all about. Also, if you have a controller and that controller runs off RCA cables, because a lot of them do, because you know what? They're just processing a signal. That can go straight into speakers, but you're better off to plug this into a mixer. Mixers are always better when you're plugging in because the impedance, everything else matches up with the speaker even better. So you need a cable for that. That cable normally would be RCA to 1/4 inch because it's a short run, so I'm not worried about it being balanced or unbalanced. In this case, it's RCA, so it's only going to be unbalanced for short runs. That's okay. That's how it's built. Doesn't change the quality or performance. Option 2, if you didn't run out and buy some cables, but you are at home and you're going, ooh, you know what's RCA? I've got the RCA cables, but I can't get that in the mixer. You don't want to be going in through some in and out loopy things that are going on unless it's specifically made, and there's only very few mixers that have RCA jacks on the mixers that are specific. You are probably going to have a mixer that doesn't have that. So in your bag of accessories, your little add-ons, things you want to get, you want to have included RCA to 1/4 inch adapters. Now this is all unbalanced. That's what this is all about. So again, we take our regular RCA cables that aren't very long because it's unbalanced. That's okay. We're going to use the adapters. Anybody says, oh, I don't use adapters. Use appropriate adapters when they're appropriately needed. Is it better to have a cable? Yes, but you should have adapters. Now this is going to allow me to plug into a 2-channel line on the mixer, left and right. Red is right. In this case, white is left. I'm going to go on the back of the unit right here. Now for a lot of people, they just feel like this is a safer connection. And if you're taking it off and on a lot, sometimes it could be. These are what they call turbine connectors. They pull hard on the connections. So they could, over time cause an issue of the removal part of the connection. But if you have a good brand name controller, even though it's RCA based on the back, that's okay. Just hook it up this way. You could go straight, but you'll actually get more control if you do it this way and more options. So there you go. A couple of tips today for using your controller, hooking it up via RCA to 1/4 inch, and also to make sure you have extra cables in your bag because occasionally that will happen. You'll misplace it, you'll forget it, especially power cables, or you'll damage it and you'll just need a replacement. Better to have it and not use it than need it and not have it. And remember, the links down below are what supports this channel. So if you're looking for anything from a mixer, controller, cables, speakers, whatever it is, and you decide you'd like to order it from Guitar Center, you're going to get great value on your purchase, and you'll be able to support this channel by just using that link down below. So I did do a little bit of homework when it comes to what I thought was right and wrong when it comes to a comparison of these speakers. I put them against a whole bunch of them in features and overall use of the product. Now, I think they're going to be closer to, let's say, the ELX 200 series from Electro Voice versus pretty far away from the ZLX. So yes, it's in the price point of the ZLX, but it's way closer to the ELX when it comes to power and overall features. Again, same thing happens with JBL. I think you're really close to the PRX versus the Eon. I think it leaves the Eon way behind when it comes to power. And when it comes to performance and features, I think you're much closer to the PRX. Again, great value there.